Welcome back. A lack of local supply of limes was affecting South African breweries, which led to a solution forming a partnership between SAB, the Moletele Community Property Association and the Komati Fruit Group. While limes are grown in South Africa, other citrus fruits are far more profitable. Of the over 90,000 hectares of citrus orchards in the country, less than 10% of the land is dedicated to limes. So as a result, consumers either end up paying for expensive imported limes or they substitute them with lemons. To share more on this and how this lack of limes has been dealt with, we're joined by Marsha Kumire, the Corporate Brand Director at SAB. Marsha, very good morning. Thanks for joining us. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, Cynthia.
Good stuff. Good to have you. Now, speak to us about the project and how it came about.
So I have to start with the product, our premium beer, Corona.
Yes.
Corona is inherently linked to lime. And the best way to have a Corona is to have it with a wedge of lime. So as the brand has gotten more popular in South Africa, we foresaw, based on all the information you gave now about how limes are not really available, we saw that there would be a challenge. As the brand gets bigger, we need to have Corona served with a lime. So with our team, we started thinking, well, how could we solve for this? So we could have imported limes, which a lot of limes that we see today are actually were imported. But as South African breweries, one of the things that we really take pride in is local sourcing. So 95% of our products are actually sourced locally. So with that in mind, we have to find a solution right here. And then we came into contact with the Moletele community,
yes.
And they actually won their land claim, and they already work with the Komati group and grow oranges and grapefruit. And so we were had a conversation with them about, let's talk about limes. Could it work for limes? They were like, yes, we actually absolutely could. So we put in an investment, about 19 million rand, to get the project started.
Okay.
And so that's where we are today, having produced lots of limes now.
So where and how does lime feature in the SAB value chain? I mean, is it used in the production process of your products, or is it used as perhaps a byproduct?
So it's more used at the end with the end consumer.
Okay.
So if you were at a restaurant and you served a Corona, it should come with a lime.
Okay.
And like you said, sometimes it doesn't. But the best way to enjoy the Corona is with a wedge of lime. Yeah.
So how much of an impact does it have on the production process? I mean, the fact that there's a limited availability or limited supply of lime. So how much of an impact does it have on the overall production process of your products?
So it's more around the enjoyment of the brand. So it means that our consumers are not really enjoying the full experience of Corona when you're just drinking it, as it is. And so which is really important for us as a brand, that you really have our product in the best possible way.
Yes.
So we're shortchanging consumers, if you could call it that, if we don't serve the product correctly. So it was very important for us that we had to solve for the lime shortage ourselves in partnership with the Moletele community and the Komati group.
Yeah, and speaking of beneficiation, how does this project benefit the people of Moletele? In what way? So
the Moletele community actually won their land claim. And they're very and forward thinking, because they've put kind of the land they won into that they got back into a trust. And the point of the trust is that they make, whatever profits they make go back to the community. So the farm employs about 15 people. However, the beneficiaries of the trust is actually about 1,615 families. So they are the actual beneficiaries. So all the profits that come from the farm, Moletele community. Okay. So the workers are from the Moletele community, and then the beneficiaries are the Moletele community, which is quite powerful, because that's economic empowerment, at its best.
So why wasn't importing lime and lemons an option?
So the first one is lemons, right? We love lemons, right, in South Africa, but that's not the best way to enjoy a Corona. And then if we look at why importing limes wouldn't benefit South Africa. We would be benefiting another country. And like I said, South African breweries, it's really important for us that we source locally. So finding the solution here at home would then benefit us as a community. And if you look at what's happening on this farm, is that the excess lime, so we purchase the limes ourselves and take them to the bars and restaurants that serve Corona, but then the excess limes are actually exported. So we are now exporting limes to other markets, and that benefits the South African economy. And for us as SAB is very, very important to us.
So what can SAB do then in terms of ensuring that more farmers take up the challenge of growing more limes and there's maximum supply of limes in South Africa?
So we've been having the conversation with the Komati group, and they were telling us they've got more space to get more limes. And I think limes are, and the reason they're expensive is because they were imported.
Yes.
So I think if we continue to grow our brand, then we're creating the demand for the limes. And I think what's important to also note is that the Komati group actually, and the Moletele community, our farm, we can produce limes all year round versus like other citrus fruits which you only get in the winter months.
So who else is part of the partnership, and how long will this project go on for?
So we've got the Komati group, and they're citrus farmers themselves. So they're responsible in the partnership for bringing the expertise around farming and really equipping the Moletele community with the necessary information and education. And then we have the Moletele community. They're providing the land. It's their land that we're farming on. And then at South African Breweries, our partnership is bringing in the investment as well as being a buyer of these very limes that they're producing for our customers in the trade.
Okay, and roughly how many limes are used annually? Do you have an idea?
So I can tell you how much we've produced so far now.
Yes.
So there's over 1 million limes that have been produced in the last 2 years, and the majority of those are actually still exported out of the country because they've produced a surplus.
Right. So have you heard any success stories, in particular from the local farmers, in terms of having benefited from the partnership between them and SAB?
So a lot of people don't realize that we're actually an agricultural business, because if you think about the raw materials that go into beer, it's maize, it's barley, you farm those things, the hops, you farm those things. So we have a lot of farmers that we work with in our value chain, that we work from an investment perspective, investing, education. They own the land and they own the farm, and we're partnership with them, and we buy the products and we use them as raw materials. So there's probably about over 250,000 people that are impacted in our supply chain, which is quite a big number. And it all starts with the agriculture, because we have to grow the raw materials.
Of course. And seeing that SAB is on a consistent drive to encourage more farmers to take up the challenge of exploiting lime, or the production of lime, I understand that the climatic issues could have been a factor in some of the farmers refraining from taking up this challenge. So how much of a factor is it? Is climate?
So not anymore. Right, so the amazing technology that we use at the farm is that they grow. We've got what we call blocks. So the trees are planted in blocks, and to date we now have 34,000 trees. They're planted in blocks, and so what happens is you kind of give the trees nutrients and water to mimic what the flowering season would look like when they need to fruit. So then every 2 months now we're able to harvest limes versus harvesting them once a year. So now, from a farming perspective to other farmers, is that you can grow citrus now all year round because of this farming technology. Very simple, but very impactful.
All right. Lovely chatting to you, Marsha. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Great stuff. We just spoke to Marsha Kumire, the Corporate Brand Director at South African Breweries, on the investment in lime production in Moletele and its benefits.